All right, today's video is brought to you guys, of course, by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/49ers. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping. Link is down below in the description box. As always, manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off plus free shipping on your very first order. All right, as we always do here, the latest news and rumors of the day. Let's start with the one that you guys keep DMing me about 24/7, it seems like. Thomas, what about Earl Thomas? Are they going to get Earl Thomas? Earl Thomas, Earl Thomas. Listen, chill. They're not going to get Earl Thomas. And look at this. Jerry Rice has come out and said that they should not go out and get Earl Thomas. What a surprise. Jerry Rice agrees with me on this one. So, of course, the Ravens did cut Earl Thomas last week. We understand he is a free agent. And there are a lot of you, not all, but a lot of you guys who want the 49ers to go ahead and sign Earl Thomas. But Jerry Rice, of course, one of the greatest 49ers ever, he's not so sure about it, and he is the exact same reasoning that I had just a couple of days ago. I bet what happened is Jerry Rice watched my 49er Report breakdown on this, and he said, you know what, Thomas makes some great points. I'm going to reiterate those points to the national media because he's 100% right on what he had to say about Earl Thomas. Now, we're going to show you what he said. I'm not saying Earl Thomas isn't a great player. He's probably a top 3 safety right now in the National Football League, but as Jerry Rice had put it, remember I said it first, he is a toxic player you do not want in your organization. Let's see what Jerry Rice said just a couple of days ago. He said, quote, "You've got to be very smart here because if a team like the Ravens let you go, it's really making a statement where this guy, where his head is at right now. I really don't know him. I don't know him at all. But for them to make a drastic move like that, I think it's sending a message throughout the league that this guy has had some problems," end quote. Again, that's Jerry Rice on Earl Thomas. Now, what kind of problems are we talking about? Because there's a lot of, stuff on Twitter saying what exactly Earl Thomas did. He got into multiple fights with the other safety on the team, the other starting safety next to him, the person technically he's supposed to be closest with on the Ravens. He got into some altercations on the football field. It went off the football field, and then he eventually punched him in the face. That's not all. He was late to meetings for a week straight, according to some reports, and sometimes missed meetings because he, quote, needed a car wash. This is a guy who not only was let go from his first team in Seattle. Remember, he was injured in Seattle and went off the football field and looked back at his team and flipped them the middle finger. You remember that? Let him go there. Comes to Baltimore, another great organization, and he was now cut from that as well. It just doesn't make sense overall. He is a great player. 10-year career, 140 games. He probably would fit right in terms of being on this great defense that the 49ers already have, but for 2 reasons, and 2 reasons only. 1, of course, he's a toxic player, and 2, honestly, the 49ers DB depth chart is pretty darn good. They don't necessarily need him. The 49ers are not going to be going out and getting Earl Thomas. I want to just put that to bed. I mean, Kyle Shanahan even talked about this the other day when he talked about, hey, we're very happy with the safeties that we have right now. They re-signed Jimmy Ward for a reason, and they're very excited about where they are with Juszczyk as well. I would be shocked. I would put this at a 0.02% chance of actually happening. So let's just put it to bed right now. And I'll just finally ask you guys, but then hopefully I won't get any more DMs about it because it's not going to happen. Should the 49ers sign Earl Thomas? Y for yes, N for no. I don't want to see a lot of Ys. I'm watching the chat. I got it on my phone right now. Don't hit Y. Just hit N because they're not going to sign Earl Thomas. And you shouldn't want a toxic player because toxic players are a very easy way to ruin a good football team season. I'm typing N right now. No on Earl Thomas. And Jerry Rice, guess what? He agrees with me. Now, one thing I do agree upon, I think we can all agree upon as well, is our sponsor, Manscaped, of course, has some fantastic products like the Lawnmower 3.0. Manscaped.com/49ers get you 20% off plus free shipping, not only on this thing, but on a plethora of great products as well. Of course, this one has the cutting blade guard that we're not going to go ahead and nick or cut yourself wherever you use this. Again, link is down below in the description box right now. Manscaped.com/49ers, 20% off your order plus free shipping. Go grab one right now. Okay, moving on. It's official, and we talked about this for many, many times the past couple of weeks, but it looks like officially the 49ers are not going to have fans in Levi Stadium for week 1. So we have hinted about this. We've said maybe, maybe not, maybe limited capacity, and now, of course, it is official. No fans in Levi Stadium for the week 1 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the good news is, and basically every single NFL team has already said this, but the 49ers finally have as well, they have left the door open for possibly later in the year because there are some teams that are going to allow, 20% capacity, 15% capacity. There are those teams out there. Even though the majority of them will not have fans in the stands week 1, I think a lot of them will eventually have fans in the stands. So it's good for the 49ers to at least give fans hope for a future this year where you could go ahead and watch a football game at Levi Stadium. But as we know, As the big news is to start the day, no fans will be at Levi Stadium for week 1 as the 49ers have officially put out a statement to all their season ticket holders, which was then leaked. And then, of course, is basically a statement for everyone who would possibly want to go to a 49er game. So they, of course, said, throughout ongoing dialogue with state and Santa Clara County officials and in accordance with public health guidelines, we can confirm that we will begin our season on September 13th against the Arizona Cardinals without fans in attendance. We'll continue to work with state and county officials regarding the potential to welcome the faithful back to Levi Stadium later this season. Let me just say this, and I've said this before, right? And I understand, working with local state, county officials, health experts, I still do not understand why you couldn't take 15,000 people in a 60+ thousand capacity stadium, spread them out, make them wear masks, and then let fans be in there. And I think that eventually that will happen. And I understand why they wouldn't let them in there week 1, because of course they're still concerned for the virus, which will be there until vaccine. And then, further on, I'm not a health expert, but I still wonder, why can't you just take people and put them in different sections and spread them out and make them wear a mask, especially when they go to the bathroom, to the concession stand. And then you're doing what basically every single small business is doing right now. A lot of organizations are doing it. They're distancing, they're wearing masks, and they're able to go back to work. Why can't fans go there as well? So I would give a thumbs up if you would want to go to a game this season, because I would definitely go to a game this season. Because if masks and social distancing work, what we've been told, and obviously it does, then you should be able to do a limited capacity and then spread people out. I have had some people say, well, Thomas, then how do you pick who gets the 20,000? You can rotate, right? There are going to be a ton of home games, at least 8 home games this year. They're going to be the same 20,000 there every single time. You can rotate them around. Someone gets to go to the Cardinal game. Someone gets to go to the Eagle game, but you can't go to both if you've already been to one. It's not hard to figure this stuff out. They got Rams game, the Dolphins game. There are plenty of home games that the 49er fans could switch around that way. The majority, not all, but a lot of fans could end up going to go ahead and sit in the stands. So the news, of course, like we said, they are not going to allow any fans in the stands for week 1 against Arizona, but they have not ruled out for later on in the year. And I would bet a lot of money that at some point this season, maybe even as early as week 4 against Philadelphia, they will let a limited number of fans go ahead and be inside the stands, because you can make them wear masks and socially distance them and have them sign a little waiver like everyone else does. If you die from COVID, you can't sue us, that sort of thing. And then you have fans in the stands, and it's a little bit more normal of a home game versus playing in front of an empty crowd, which is going to be interesting and kind of weird to go ahead and watch for week 1. Again, thumbs up if you guys want to go to a game this year. Of course, everybody does. And finally, of course, where we go on to the latest injury news, the Shears 2.0 are the newest thing that Manscaped has, which they sent me a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely fantastic grooming kit here. They got everything you need. They got scissors, they got the tweezers, they got the nail clippers, the file. It's all there. Manscaped.com/49ers, getting 20% off plus free shipping on your order. Go ahead and check those out. Link just down below in the description box, like right below me. Just click that, and then it'll take you there, and then you can go ahead and pick one up on a discounted price and with free shipping as well. Okay, the big news I basically saved for last. I thought that the no fans in the stands for week 1 was big news, but now the 49ers made a massive roster move with like 4 of you guys already have DM'd me about. They signed Kevin White and of course River Crackraft, which is not a big deal, but Kevin White, right? That's what you want to focus on. So people are like, Thomas, this is a former number 7 overall pick in the NFL draft of the Bears. This has got to be a massive addition. Also, throw in Eric Swoop as well, and then waiving Salvon Ahmed. They did a lot of moves, but the Kevin White one is the one, obviously, to go ahead and focus on. And I'll get more into that here in just a second. But I want to calm everybody down on the Kevin White signing. As I always say, the later it takes for someone to get signed, the later in the offseason, the more concern that they have and the less likelihood they're actually going to go ahead and be great. But look at all this stuff, right? They signed a wide receiver. They let go, they signed a tight end. They signed a undrafted free agent running back favorite in Salvon Ahmed. And of course, Jerron Brown and Jonathan Kongbo as well. So a lot of moves are happening here. We're trying to get you guys updated on every single one. Before we move on though, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because let's just say Kevin White starts performing well in training camp. You'll hear it first, right? I'm watching training camp, I'm watching all the highlights, I'm watching all the people write about it. If Kevin White gets there, and again, he has to get there, and he has to go ahead and get through the COVID testing phase, but if he can actually get there and be good, you'll hear it here first here on the 49ers Sports. Go ahead and click that big red subscribe button. So just throw up the big screen here. Again, let's go through these moves overall. The problem with Salvon Ahmed, obviously, was that there's no room in the 49ers depth chart for another running back. Where's he going to fit? You got Jeff Wilson Jr., you got Tevin Coleman, too many running backs, they had to let him go. Jerron Brown, you need to make room for Kevin White, wasn't doing well in training camp. Boom, let him go. And then, of course, the other two moves they did there with Jonathan and Eric Swoop. It's not exactly big name, big budget moves. So the one we want to focus on, of course, is Kevin White, who was signed literally just a couple of hours ago. So here's the deal on Kevin White. I'm going to give it to you straight. Former number 7 overall pick in the NFL draft of the Cincinnati Bears. He was a very exciting player in college, and a lot of people thought would be an elite wide receiver at some point in his NFL career. And the problem is that much like what the 49ers have had this year, Kevin White has been injured a ton in his career. Broke his leg his rookie year. He broke a different bone in the same leg his sophomore year. He played the last couple of years, but the Bears and Mitch Trubisky never got him the football. And then last year he was a Cardinal, but got cut before the start of the NFL season. So it seems like he's kind of obviously lost a step due to the multiple surgeries and the broken bones. So the 49ers are gambling here with not a lot of money in the pot. Let me say that again. This is a low-risk, high-reward move because he's super cheap. He's probably not going to go ahead and break into the wide receiver depth chart because there are a lot of guys who are going to be ahead of him. But if for some reason he can go ahead and get back to his college self, and they would have found a diamond in the rough that didn't cost a lot of money. So is he going to come in and be like the number 1 wide receiver? Oh, be a starting wide receiver? No. This is a low-risk, high-reward move that, of course, makes a lot of sense because the 49ers need wide receiver depth because they've had a bunch of injuries. And speaking of those injuries, they've had a lot of recent injuries in terms of what's happened over the past couple of days. We've gotten updates on a lot of these as well. You probably saw the injury report tweeted out here on Twitter. Ayuk officially has that hamstring. We talked about that last week. He's week to week on the hamstring. That's the news on Brandon Ayuk. Probably going to be out for at least this week, maybe a little bit into next week. We'll see how well that hamstring heals. Those can kind of nag. Nick Bosa was not at practice today with left leg soreness. I'm told that's not a big deal overall, but he should be fine. Same with Ross Dwelly's foot, Ross Reynolds' knee, and of course Ben Garland's ankle. So none of these are big overall injuries. A lot of these players did not practice today, but the majority of them are either day-to-day or week-to-week, or in Nick Bosa's case, we just held out because of a little bit of soreness, so it's not a big deal overall. But this was the whole point of the end of this rumors because I wanted to get you guys the news on the White signing, and of course, all the latest injury updates as well, because people DM me a lot on Twitter at Earl Thomas Mott asking me, oh, I saw Brandon Ayuk was on the injury report today, hamstring injury, what's going on? Well, here's the update for you guys right here. Not a big deal. Should be a week-to-week sort of thing. But I'll just say this. I'll finish with this. The injury bug's not been good to the 49ers. They need to calm down on the injury front. I'm tired of going out and signing all these washed-up wannabe players. We just have the players that we originally thought we were going to have. Like, stay safe. Don't get injured. We just wrap them all in bubble wrap. Hopefully, it's not a big deal. My concern level right now, I want to know what you guys think here. It's not bad. It's like a 6. Right? They've had some big names, and Deebo Samuel's a big name. But they haven't had massive names. Like if Garoppolo went down, if Bosa went down, like knock on wood, whatever you got to do. Hopefully that does not happen. I'm at a 6 right now, but it could get worse, right? It can always get worse, and so you never know. But let me know what your concern is about the 49ers right now down below in the comment section.